मेरी करियर में ऐसा मतलब हुआ है कि मैंने सोचा एक तो और हुआ कुछ और, you know. थ्रू आउट लॉ स्कूल मुझे लिटिगेशन करना ही नहीं था. I only wanted to do corporate law. I think in my career I've done it all, right? I worked with a company, I worked with firms, I've had my own practice. Students nowadays are not restricted to, you know, litigation or law firms anymore. There are so many avenues that lawyers can do now and participate in. There are freelance opportunities directly from foreign countries that lawyers can work on here.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Priyanshee Sharma, and I welcome you all to the next episode of DNLU podcast. Today on Dice, we have Mr. Rajiv sir, who is currently a partner at King Stubb Kasiva. Sir, at the start, I really wanted to ask, why did you choose law? What experience or what happened in your younger years that you wanted to choose law as your first profession?
Thank you for making me feel old, first of all, by saying younger years. Just kidding. Just wanted to start on a lighter note. But yeah, I think I had a very interesting journey. I mean, it was interesting to me the way I happened to choose law. So, to be very honest, like any other school child, or at least not kids nowadays, but in my generation, like any other school child, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do after my 12th or what career path I wanted to follow. I was very unclear as to what I would choose. I did my commerce after my 10th standard, 11th and 12th, and I initially thought maybe I'll do an undergraduation in commerce and maybe do an MBA and follow a career in management. That was my initial thought. But around the time when I was just finishing my 12th standard board exams, I had someone in the family, my uncle on my dad's side, my dad's elder brother, who became the vice chancellor of NLSIU in Bangalore at that time, Professor R. Venkat Rao. And although I'm a first generation lawyer, I've had the benefit or the advantage of having some legal luminaries in the family, including Professor Rao. And having seen him up close, and I went for his swearing in as his vice chancellor at NLSIU, and I saw the campus in Bangalore, and that just changed my perspective on what I wanted to do and on my career aspirations. Instantly, the moment I saw the library and the lifestyle at the campus, I was just swayed, and I decided that I wanted to do law. It was just as if something had awoken in me, and this was, I think, just about 2 or 3 months before the CLAT exam was due, and I just suddenly decided I was going to do it, and I just wrote CLAT immediately with about a couple of months of preparation, aspiring to be a lawyer. And although I didn't make it to one of the top NLUs as I liked, I still didn't give up and thought I should do law nonetheless, and that's how I happened to start off on this journey.
Very well, sir. My next question is, you were in Bangalore, which is NLSIU, and
Right.
then you did your graduation from Christ University.
Yes.
So after entering the legal profession, do you see a difference between how कॉलेज के बच्चे जो NLU से आए हैं या फिर जो प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज से पढ़े हैं उनके बीच में कुछ डिफरेंस है? डजंट मैटर फ्रॉम व्हिच कॉलेज यू ग्रेजुएटेड फ्रॉम.
तो मैं खुद NLU से नहीं हूँ, राइट. I've done my law from Christ, Bangalore. I mean, although being in a city or being in a particular city or in a city like Bangalore has its advantages. आपके पास peers होते हैं जो NLUs या दूसरे colleges से होते हैं, या फिर you have access to the libraries. Like for example, NLS का library in Bangalore is not closed. Anyone can visit. Even if you're a student of another college, you can visit. You can take a permit and still access the library there, which is what I used to do most of the time. Although Christ does have a fantastic library now, which we didn't जब मैं college में था. But I had the opportunity to access that, and that way the NLUs are not very closed off. But having said that, मैंने मेरे पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस में ज़्यादा डिफरेंस देखा नहीं है इन अ स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम एन NLU और अ स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम अ नॉन NLU. In my perspective, it doesn't really make a difference. I've had students from NLUs intern with me. I've had students from non NLUs intern with me. I have a lot of friends who are from NLUs, and of course a lot of peers and batchmates who are not from NLU. So I personally don't think it makes a lot of difference. In fact, especially if you're pursuing a career in litigation or in practice, it doesn't make a difference at all. You could be from from an unknown college, or you could be from NLSI or Bangalore. You're still starting off at the same level. It all depends on how good you are in court or how good that person is able to be in court. Because that is the only thing which really matters. But yes, if you were to start off, say, with a law firm or with a career in corporate law, maybe it would make some amount of a difference, because कई सारे law firms हैं that prefer to hire only from a particular NLU or from a few NLUs.
True.
I mean, different people have different preferences. I'm not trying to name and shame anyone or to point out any particular firms. But having said that, मेरे opinion में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. I think it's the same whether you're from an NLU or from a non-NLU.
That must come as a relief to our private universities.
I'm sure it does, yes.
Yeah. Right, sir. My next question to you is, sir, you honored in media and entertainment laws.
Yes.
So why did you choose that? And then the shift in your career where you're currently not involved in media and entertainment laws.
I mean, ये भी कहना सही नहीं होगा कि I'm not involved in media and entertainment laws. I advise clients. I mean, ultimately, when you do litigation, you do everything, right?
Right,
A to Z. You work on infrastructure laws, you work on technology laws, you work on media and entertainment, you work on commercial laws, insolvency, everything, right from consumer to insolvency to arbitration. It's all fair game. Having said that, yeah, मेरे करियर में ऐसा मतलब हुआ है कि मैंने सोचा एक तो और हुआ कुछ और, you know. That was even, in fact, I was just telling the panelists of yesterday who I had the chance to meet just before coming here, but my tryst, I would say, with litigation is very funny. I didn't know I was going to be a litigator. In fact, throughout law school, मुझे litigation करना ही नहीं था. I only wanted to do corporate law, and I was very fascinated with the word corporate lawyer, as I think most law students are. So even after my 5th year, I wanted to become a corporate lawyer and do corporate law. And in fact, I started off my career as an in-house counsel. I got a campus placement with a company called Shrey Equipment Finance, SREI. I was working on their legal team in Bangalore. And at that time, that achievement meant a lot to me, working in a company straight out of college. But having said that, जब मैंने नौकरी शुरू की, I came to realize that it isn't everything it's made out to be, and I should have actually joined a law firm where I could have learnt work before coming to a company, because when you work in a company, there are certain expectations that when you're part of a legal team that you should know, and I didn't have that training beforehand before I became an in-house counsel. So I don't think I made a very good in-house counsel at that point of time. So उस realization के साथ I decided to join a law firm, and that's how I happened to join, my first law firm role, a firm called Tempest Law Associates in Hyderabad. And incidentally, at the time, I was working on the general corporate team at Tempest. I started off in a law firm doing M&A and transactions and due diligence and any other thing a lawyer on a general corporate team would do. Even at that point of time, this was about 6 months into my career. Even at that point of time, I didn't know that I was going to be a litigator eventually. But it was at that firm that I was working with a corporate partner, but there was a litigation partner at that firm. When I wasn't really feeling like I was fitting into the corporate law team, the litigation partner took me in and just started introducing me to litigation work, and I started doing some winding up petitions with him at the time. Back then, IBC still didn't exist, so winding up was done as per the Companies Act, and back then still with the Company Law Board and with the High Court. So I was doing some winding up petitions, and that's how I started. That's what I started drafting first, and that was my first experience into litigation.
So you've always been in firms, or have you ever tried to test your luck through practicing independently?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, I think in my career I've done it all. Right, I worked with a company, I worked with firms, I've had my own practice. I've worked with independent seniors, and then I've come back to a law firm with which I'm working now.
अकेले practice करना to navigate everything in the law profession अकेले, or that when you have the cushion of a law firm, does it make a difference to, especially us fresh graduates who are looking for seniors, and some want to establish themselves on their own? What would you suggest?
No, it definitely makes a lot of difference when you're with a law firm. The resources, the support that you get from being in a firm is of course much better than being on your own. But then अपना खुद का कुछ करना भी एक अलग ही शौक होता है. So it's always nice to have your own practice as well. I think I would say it's to each his own. It depends
so what
on
was yours?
What you prefer. I think mine was, I always saw myself working in a firm, although I did have my practice for a short period of time, and I would maybe love to have something on my own eventually down the line as well. But at this point of time, I'm very happy with where I am and with what I'm doing and the opportunities I've gotten in my career. I think the call that one has to take is what is good for someone at that particular point of time. So just because you are doing something now doesn't mean that would be good for you all throughout. It depends on your circumstances, your time, and what you want from yourself at that point of time. So no harm, no foul in both, I would say.
Right.
It depends on individual preferences. It's always, I mean, there are ups and downs and differences in both. Having said that, I would urge students to try out as many opportunities as possible, be it on your own or with law firms. Make the most of what you have. That's essentially what it comes down to.
So we have established that you have worked in variety of fields.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask is कि हर field के अपनी growth है.
बिल्कुल.
Throughout the start of time, हर field ने एक growth show करी है. So having worked in a lot of fields, do you see one of these fields growing exponentially in the next 5 years?
Right.
So are you already working in some of them, और आप चाहते हैं कि इस field में आगे जाके मेरा contribution हो?
Right.
What do you say on that?
So I think one field that has always grown at a reasonable pace, or that will continue to grow irrespective of what other fields come up, is litigation. Litigation evolves and it keeps growing, and I don't think it's going to stop growing. I mean, even if there is a lot of talk of technology coming into law, AI and all of that, and even if all of that happens, nobody can replace a lawyer in a courtroom and a judge at the end of the day, right? I think that's it gets as basic as that. So litigation, theoretically and practically speaking, is irreplaceable. So I think there are a lot more advancements. Like we see the recent changes with all the courts being encouraged to go into hybrid mode, with virtual hearings being more and more accepted. There are a lot of changes and a lot of adaptability that's coming into litigation. So I anticipate these kind of changes to continue, and I would like to be a part of that and see how far it goes, or to what extent technology can be used to aid litigation. Like for example, I think e-filing has been already started, and it's being done in a lot of courts mandatorily. And I would like to see a day when courts are completely paperless. I think that is something that we're moving towards, and that would be key to see. But apart from litigation, I think there are a lot of fields that are picking up in India. There are a lot of practice areas within a law firm. In fact, I was just discussing with a vice chancellor here while having lunch that students nowadays are not restricted to litigation or law firms anymore. There are so many avenues that lawyers can do now and participate in. There are freelance opportunities directly from foreign countries that lawyers can work on here. There are so many other opportunities and things that lawyers can do apart from just traditional litigation or law firm roles. In-house roles are much more I would say complex and important than they used to be, and there are so many avenues now that young law students like yourselves can explore. It's fantastic. So yeah, so I think we're heading towards a very exciting time, and I'm just excited to see how it all plays out.
Right, sir. So is a question I've been meaning to ask since this interview started. So what is the meaning of King Stubb Kasiva?
Sure. So I get asked that a lot. In fact, every time we go to a meeting to introduce the firm, or whenever I'm talking to new clients, this is a question that we are often asked. What is with the name? Are you a foreign firm? What is with KSK, King Stubb Kasiva? What does it mean? So just to clarify, we're not a foreign firm. We are very much an Indian firm. We started in India a little under 20 years ago, in 2004, 2005 in Delhi. And basically, I mean, it's a very simple answer. It's a very funny answer as well. I think some of the students who interned with me might know. It's basically the names of the founding partners of the firm. So King Stubb Kasiva is essentially, we have two founding partners, Rajesh and Jidesh. I work very closely with both of them. So Rajesh sir, everyone calls him Raja. So from Raja came the word king. And Jidesh sir, everybody calls him Jid. And it sounds a lot like Ziddi or Ziddi in Hindi, which is stubborn. So वहाँ से the word Stubb came, and Kasiva is actually just Rajesh's mother's name, Renuka Sivaswamy. So Renuka se Ka and Sivaswamy se Siva. That's essentially how Kasiva. She was one of the silent partners in the firm when it started. So yeah, it just
That's very
happened.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's very creative
And
and
I think
interesting.
I'm very fortunate to have been part of the journey with both Rajesh sir and Jay sir and this entire firm. I had the opportunity to set up the firm's Hyderabad office a little under 5 years ago. And the reason for the name, I think, was that essentially when they started out in the early 2000s, most Indian law firms are family owned. You look at your Khaitan or your Luthra or Kochar, all of these firms were family based, family owned, family named firms. And I think essentially what the founders of KSK wanted was to set themselves apart and to stand out and have a
And they
different
did,
sort of
they
name,
succeeded.
yeah, which could maybe differentiate them from the existing firms at the time. So that was the idea, and I think they did a fair job of
They
that.
did, absolutely, sir. It caught my eye.
And I think the best part with the name is that a curiosity सी बन जाती है सब में कि ये है
Stubb
क्या,
with
क्या
two
चीज़ है ये
Bs.
KSK.
हाँ.
So that it becomes very interesting conversation starter
बिल्कुल sir,
of
बिल्कुल.
sorts. So
Right, sir.
so yeah, that's the
Okay.
mystery solved for you.
Okay, sir.
That's what the name means.
So my next question is, being a feminist,
Right.
if I'm in my 5th year now, so
Yes.
आगे जाके अगर मैं सोचूं कि मुझे I want to be a lawyer, but my parents are very hesitant
Right.
because it's traditionally a male profession, and I've
Correct.
been said this through and through in my internships that you have to work harder than your peers, when your male peers, not to offend anybody here, but I want to ask you this question, sir. How would you suggest me कि अगर तुमको start करना है तो this is how you should navigate and this is how you
Right.
should build your way towards a successful career?
Sure, no, that's a fantastic question. And firstly, see, I would say you'll become a lawyer the moment you finish this course and get your degree. But I think what you're asking about is becoming an advocate, right?
Right. However you put
Right.
it, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Or essentially, you're talking about litigation. How difficult or easy it is for a woman lawyer to make it big in litigation. I think
Yes,
that's
that's
essentially
exactly my question, sir.
what
Yes,
your
sir.
question is. So I don't think it's too hard. I mean, I think of course women have their own sets of challenges in any field you pick in India or across the world, for that matter. But having said that, I don't think there is. Of course, you're right. I mean. Given the numbers, any profession for the most part is a male-dominated profession, especially ours, for that matter. But that doesn't mean that we haven't had female judges or female advocates who've been successful. Look at the Supreme Court; there are several senior advocates who are women. You look at judges; there are several successful female judges who've been there and who are there even now. So I don't think there is a barrier to entry as such, but I think the numbers are just so big that there is a disparity between the amount of male advocates and female advocates that we have. Having said that, I think the trend is changing slowly. We have more and more younger women coming into the bar. I have a lot of brilliant young women who work with me, both in the firm and outside, and even within the profession. I see a lot of young women coming into the profession, which is nice. And in fact, most law schools also, whenever I go to speak to students or just have a session, I see that generally law schools nowadays have more female students than male students, which is a good thing. I think that only goes to show that that doesn't mean that all of the students are coming to the bar or taking up litigation. But I would encourage boys, girls, and everyone to take up litigation as much as possible, because I'm a litigator. It's changed my life in a lot of ways, and I think that's what litigation is about: finding your own space in this vast jungle, which is litigation. And I think there is space for everyone. It just depends on how you make it.
Right, sir.
So.
I appreciate your attitude towards my
Right.
answer, sir. I was very skeptical whether I should ask it or not.
Right.
But आपकी बात सुन के I'm more motivated, if
Right.
anything, कि देख लेंगे.
Right. No, I mean,
घुसते हैं फिर देख लेंगे.
Bilkul. And I think that's how anyone should look at it. There is no barrier of entry for anyone. We even, in fact, in Kerala, I think we have the first transgender lawyer who's practicing now. So it really doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're good at what you do and you can make a name for yourself.
And
Nothing
Saurabh
else. Nothing else
Kilpal, sir, in
matters.
Delhi.
Bilkul.
Right, sir.
Nothing
Bilkul,
else
sir.
matters. That's about it. Talent is everything in our profession. So.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Well, very well said, sir. My last question, as as we approach towards the end of this session is,
Right.
sir, I wanted to ask your suggestions towards 3 category of students.
Sure.
So first years abhi aaye hain, just freshly CLAT crack karke. The 5th years, my batch, and the fresh graduates, our seniors, who have just started their life after law school. So what do you suggest? How do they go about their life after?
So I think my advice would be same to all the 3 categories of people that you mentioned. Is that don't restrict yourself to one idea or one preference that you may have. In fact, this is the common message I would have to all of them, is that stay as far away from your comfort zone as you can. Reason I say that is because, like I said, I did not, even after choosing law, or even after starting my career in law for the first 2 years or so, I did not really know what field within the law I was going to follow. I did not know that I was going to be doing litigation. I kept exploring. Like I said, I went to in-house, I went to a general corporate team, I had my own practice. And then eventually I found out that litigation is what I really like, and that's my passion. So don't close yourself off. Nowadays I see a lot of students with, it's good to know what you want and it's good to have clarity, but I see a lot of students shutting themselves off right from the second year, saying, मुझे सिर्फ data privacy करना है, या मुझे सिर्फ general corporate करना है, मुझे सिर्फ M&A करना है. It's good to know what you want, but at the same time, at a stage when you're learning, which is, I would say, till, of course, we're always learning as lawyers, we're always students. But having said that, at least till the first 5 years in your career, don't pick one particular specialization unless you're absolutely sure about it. Keep your mind open, keep looking at other things, keep reading, keep updating your knowledge, because you never know when your interest will spark in another field. So it's important to not keep yourself closed off and to keep your mind open. And be that as a first year, or be it as a 5th year who's just graduating college, or be it as someone who's just graduated college and who's trying to explore the big bad world out there. This is, I think, something that will take you to places. Keep an open mind, and you never know what you'll stumble upon,
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our viewers?
I think, just good luck to everyone and whatever they want to pursue. And at the end of the day, talent wins. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you for everyone who was tuning in with us. And we will see you again in the next episode. Please like, share, and subscribe.